Hi, everybody. We're
Hi.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're back.
And what we wanted to share with you today was another episode on the high nutrient dense food list. This is something that we always introduce our clients to when they initially start with us because it helps us understand where to get the nutrients we need for our bodies to thrive.
Yeah, how we can really flourish and experience that so we begin to hear our own body's wisdom. When the body flourishes, we relate to that so much that we begin to see, oh, my body, it's sending me messages all the time that I haven't paid
Right.
any attention to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so, yeah, what this high nutrient dense list is about is really seeing where we get the nutrients that the body is designed to thrive with. The, the way the body thrives, because we're always aging, we're always stressing the body, we're exposed to toxins in the environment, in the water, in the air, all that. And the body is designed to be able to deal with all these stressors, but it needs the nutrients and the energy to do it. And so that's what this high nutrient dense list is about, is so that we can understand where to get the nutrients to support our bodies to do what they were designed to do, to regenerate and stay healthy and lose any excess weight quite naturally.
Yeah, and what we realized working with a client is going over the high nutrient dense sheet one time isn't enough. We need to really
Mm.
look at it again and see how we're eating versus what's on offer here.
Yeah, you know what that reminds me of is how sometimes I'll read a book and it's so impactful and it's so great. And I change something from it, has me change my life. And then I put it aside and I have the thought, well, maybe I'll take a look at that book again a few years later. And I look at it and I read things that I didn't think were even there before.
Yeah, that's
It's
so
like
true.
when we're making this change to high nutrient dense foods, which is kind of countercultural to our relationship with food that at least we grew up with,
Yeah.
then there's only so much that we can kind of understand until we get the experience of what this is about. And as we do build a foundation of greater health, then we can come back to this high nutrient dense list and learn even more to deepen and continue to thrive even more. Connie and I are surprised almost every year how aspects of our lives and our health are actually better now in our 70s than they were when we were in our 50s and doing the whole food plant-based thing.
True.
But we've
That's very
continued
true.
to refine it and balance it and adjust it to what our body's needs are, because our needs are always changing too.
Well, let's go over it.
Okay, so we'll put this on the screen for you. And
So the important is have 2 to 3 large portions of dark leafy greens a day. How we do that is we start the day with a green smoothie with a lot of greens in it. And then for lunch, we make a big pot of dark leafy greens and veggies. And then we have a separate pot that has our main course dish.
right, so the reason that there's so much emphasis on the dark leafy greens is because if you look at the right side of the chart, in the green, it shows the nutrient density of the different categories of whole foods. And the raw leafy greens are the very highest. They have the most nutrient density to support our body's regeneration.
Yeah. So for dinner, we have a big salad as part of our dinner meal. So we get 3 large portions of dark leafy greens a day. And then all the beans and lentils you wish to eat, they're the high protein source. They're really, really yummy too. We love those. And then 3 to 4 fresh fruits, which is quite a bit. And you can use fruit as a snack, or I use quite a bit of fruit in my green smoothie in the morning. And then now we need to start approaching this with care. One starchy veggie, which is a baked potato, a yam, sweet potato or winter squash, or 1 cup of whole grain. So if you have, like Bill does in the morning, whole grains, you've got to count that as part of your starchy allotment for the day.
And the starchy foods, they're healthy foods, but if we're trying to lose weight, then that's where we want to really pay attention to keeping the starchy foods a little more minimized. There's plenty of starch and carbohydrate, whole food carbohydrate in the beans and lentils as well. So even if we don't have a portion of the starchy vegetable someday, if we have lots of beans and lentils, we're doing fine.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it. And then also for weight loss, you don't want more than a small handful of nuts and seeds a day. And the value of the nuts and seeds, Bill, why they're so important?
Yeah, well, we need oil in our diet, in the food we eat, in order for the body to absorb and utilize the oil-soluble nutrients. An example of this would be vitamin E. Vitamin E is an oil-soluble nutrient. So if the food we're eating has vitamin E in it, but we have no oil in with the diet, what we're eating at that time, then the body doesn't absorb very much of that vitamin E. So there's water-soluble nutrients and oil-soluble nutrients. We never have any trouble with the water-soluble nutrients being absorbed because the whole foods that we're eating are very high water content foods. So they bring with them the water that we need to absorb water-soluble nutrients. But for the oil-soluble nutrients, we need to have some oil in there. And so there we want to have a small handful of nuts and seeds or whole food oil from avocado or flaxseed or chia seed like that.
Yeah, so that's the last entry is half an avocado a day, 2 tablespoons of ground flax or chia, or 2 tablespoons of hemp seed once a week. So that's the whole food, high nutrient dense list that we start people on so that they really begin to hear their body's wisdom.
And the one other element we'll point out about this sheet is that on the right-hand side again, where everything in green is the high nutrient dense food, when it drops down into the pink zone with the fish, the fat-free dairy, eggs, red meat, cheese, refined grains, and sweets, that is, well, what's interesting is all those foods that are down there are inflammatory. And all of the foods above that are anti-inflammatory. All the foods down in the pink zone are fiber-free. And although fiber isn't considered a nutrient in the world of nutrition, it is the nutrition that feeds our microbiome. And we're learning more and more these days about how important our healthy microbiome is to our being healthy. That microbiome is what's responsible for 80% of our immune response. So we really want to keep the microbiome healthy. And to do that, we have to feed it fiber. That is its food. So again, there's a distinction here between high nutrient dense food and low nutrient dense foods. The high nutrient dense are in green, low nutrient dense are in pink. And the more we live in the green zone, the more we live longer.
Well, one really good little thing to look at that will tell you actually quite a bit about your level of health. When we eat this high nutrient dense, whole food, organic, wide variety way of eating, which is our mantra, our skin glows. We see the light move through our skin. Our hair gets lustrous and we feel great. So look in the mirror. Is your skin glowing? If not, that means your body wants more nutrient. And this sheet of high nutrient dense whole foods is a great way to really change the enjoyment of food, hearing your body's wisdom. Yeah, it's the best.
Okay, everybody. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and we'll see you again next week. Oh, was there a recipe this week?
Yeah, we should do a recipe. What are we going to do? Let's see. I'll put a wonderful lentil dish
Mm.
because they're so important for good health.
Okay, enjoy. We'll see you next week.